Hi everybody, how are you today? Thought we'd need a video on the Huda Beauty Haze Obsessions palette. I don't actually own any other Huda palettes. I do have a whole collection of C Color Cosmetics dupes for the Huda palettes. I've got 6 of the dupes for the Huda Beauty Obsessions palettes. I think probably the first 6. I don't have any of the dupes for, I think, like the nudes that she came out with that I've heard are really good. But because this is like my first Huda purchase, I took a look at these hazes and I thought that they were actually really pretty. The purple one didn't really appeal to me. I felt like it was a lot of dupes for other colors, and I've heard that with other ones. This was the first one that I got, the Khaki Palette. I'm all about grungy greens. This seems like it really spoke to me, and I picked it up in Las Vegas recently. Used it while I was down there, really enjoyed it. And then because I liked it so much, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna grab one that might be a little bit more conducive to wearing glasses. So I picked this one up as well. This is the sand one. In this palette, I've got 5 mattes and 4 shimmers. 3 of the mattes here are the lighter colors. I'm probably never gonna use all of those. I mean, I really do like a transition shade. I like the fact that I've got a warmer and a cooler dark shade, but I suspect this one will probably get, or either one of them, these will probably get mixed in with the lighter shades to kind of give me the color that I actually want. Whereas this one gives me only one kind of lighter shade that's a matte, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and again, I've got 5 mattes and 4 shimmers in here. This one, I mean, some of these are kind of really iridescent. Like, you don't see it on the camera, but that's actually a green tinge. That's a green, that's a purple, and that's like a copper. Feel to me like a little bit more usable. But because I picked this one up, I'm gonna do that too. So I'm gonna do, I think, just 2 looks today. And we're just gonna do just like a little chit chat, get ready with me, and I hope you guys are okay with that. So I did wanna actually mention, kind of honorable mention, I picked up Too Faced Chocolate Matte Eyeshadow. I picked this up recently. This is Warm and Fudgy. And then I also picked up the Amaretto one. On work from home days, when you want something super fast and easy, oh my gosh, these are fantastic. One of these, maybe just like a little shimmer just to give your eyes some brightness, is such an easy, fast, foolproof way to do cream eyeshadows on mature lids and have a quick, easy work from home look. Maybe even like a going to work look too, frankly. Or just an actual everyday easy look. Anyway, if you guys want to see a video on how I use those, let me know. I'm obsessed with these now. I thought I would share with you guys some new products I've been trying. This is from Thrive Cosmetics, and it's a Filtered Effects Blurring Primer. I do have sunscreen on already and my moisturizer, but we're gonna put this primer on, and it feels so nice. It has that kind of silky feeling. And then I also picked up the Thrive Cosmetics Buildable Blur CC Cream. Really been liking this as well, so I'm gonna put it on with a brush, and then I'm gonna go over it with a damp beauty blender. And this shade might be slightly dark for me. Once you get it on and you share it out, it doesn't look horrible. I really like the finish on this when I wore this the other day. And because it says it's a buildable CC cream, I'm gonna take a little bit more where I have the majority of my discoloration. I'm also gonna use, now I haven't even tried this yet, this is the Thrive Cosmetics Eye Lift 360 Degrees Waterproof Primer. I have not yet found a Thrive Cosmetics product that I haven't really enjoyed. So how does this lighting look? A little bit more like natural, normal. I changed some settings on it, so I'm hoping we've got this kind of thing figured out and we're working through the technical challenges you've had before. Nothing new, Benefit Precisely My Brow. I'm gonna put these on really fast. I had a couple videos that were really long that are kind of gonna go up before this, and I am so sorry, you guys. I really don't try to make them that long. I think when I do like a full face, sometimes they just get longer, or like a shopping haul and I got a lot to share with you guys. It just takes a long time. It takes a long time to film it, and then it takes a long time to edit it, and then they're just a long video. So I try to get them to calm down and be smaller, but sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, this is the Milani Silky Matte Bronzing Powder in 02. This is such a sheer, subtle bronzing powder. You really have to work to build it up, but the other good part of that is you don't end up with like crazy streaks in too much. And I'm trying to do things that are a little bit more natural. I mean, sometimes when I film, because sometimes it can look really washed out, I feel like I go a little bit overboard, but honestly, I try to do makeup that I would leave the house in. And why is this brush shedding? But this actually is looking pretty good. I think what I like about this bronzer is I can contour with it and it's not overly shiny. I'll just do a little bit down here. My husband said my jowls were looking better. Been, you know, working out, but then I've been using, not that he commented on my jowls. I actually asked him. I've been using that New Face thing when I remember and when I've got time to commit to it. Whether it's the New Face device or whether it's the working out, it seems to be going a little bit better. Okay, I am going to use a concealer. I've really been enjoying this e.l.f. HD lifting concealer. I have shade light. Okay, so my husband and I have been talking about cosmetic procedures lately and just trying to figure out, you know, should we, do we need any, what do we got going on? You know, we're both coming up on pretty significant milestone birthdays, and it's just like, you know, is this the time that you start really considering it? I mean, I know that there are people that are like super hyper ultra sensitive about it and they're getting Botox in their 20s or whatever, and I don't know. I guess I'm just curious as to what your guys' take on it. Are you guys aging gracefully, or are you guys actually doing little tweaks, little things here and there? I'd be curious. I've never had anything done. I've had a few moles removed, but I've never had any, like, well, the only plastic surgery I've ever had is I actually split my forehead open, and it just so happened to be the guy at the emergency room had took a course at Harvard or Yale on plastic surgery, so you can't even see the scar. I'm going to take the e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush in Always Silly. And I think this is kind of a blush that a little goes a long way. So it's starting out here, and I'm gonna kind of work in. And even though this says that it's a shimmer, I don't get a ton of texture, but I think part of that is the primer. Oh, see, I already went like too crazy with that. We're gonna have to blend that out a little bit here. Certainly do like it when my face has a little bit more contouring and a little bit more whatever. This side I've never really minded. Like this side I feel like I've got a cheekbone. This side I used to have a huge mole right here. It was like a Paula Abdul mole. And somebody had told me they didn't like it, and so I had it removed kind of just in a fit one day. I just got, I don't know, I was feeling, I don't know, self-destructive or something. I was in a bad relationship. Anyway, and it wasn't him that even complained about it. It was like some total random stranger who I don't even care about their opinion. But they said, oh yeah, I hate that mole. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go have it removed. And I thought, having this removed, that I'd still have like this cheekbone type definition, and I don't. So this is my bad side. I think everybody has like a side they prefer over others. Okay, I'm gonna use the Hourglass Veil Powder. I always put it in the cap and just kind of load up the brush first. Now, I have heard that this is the right powder to use under your eyes. If you follow me over on Instagram at Sheli Tsunami, you'll see that I said that I was gonna do some research on setting powders and under eye powders and finishing powders and things like that, and just see what works under your eyes. And I gotta tell you, I'm just not really thrilled with my eyes these days and the crepiness underneath it. Okay, I'm gonna take this Thrive Cosmetics Instant Eye Brightener. They probably have a more specific way of where you should put this and why. But I find that if I start with something that looks a little bit more awake, that I'm less likely to go too crazy. That's not all what we're here to do, but that's just kind of how I was gonna start my day. So let's start with this Huda Beauty Sand Haze palette. I have not used this yet, so we're just gonna try to go in here and throw some colors on. Normally I don't do these peachy apricot-y colors. I would be more interested in the, it's like a super pale mauve pink taupe kind of color. Oh, there's a lot of kick up. I think my eyelids are a little tacky from that primer. That eyelid primer had no opacity to it. It was like a translucent eyelid primer. Okay, I feel like I had to work quite a bit to just even build that up as a transition shade. So this might be a really good palette for somebody who's super fair. I'm gonna use a slightly smaller brush, and we're gonna go into this kind of rosy color out here. This is gonna be my crease slash moving into the transition shade. It's actually kind of a pretty sort of rosy color. The shade that you get is what you see in the pan. Now, like I said, I've been playing with the Khaki palette and have been enjoying it. Like, I think it's really the right one for me. But I thought this might be kind of a fun one just for maybe days where I'm wearing glasses. Natasha Denona did a masterclass on mature hooded eyes, and I really kind of want to try what she did with several different palettes of hers to see if I can't kind of recreate the look. Natasha Denona has a very different aesthetic when it comes to eyeshadows and how the skin texture looks and things like that. It's a little intimidating. I feel like I got a little patchiness here. Put more product in to cover the patchiness. Of course, it just builds out the color. I don't know that that kind of warmer, I don't even want to call it a mauve. It's more of a dusty rose maybe. I don't know that that's the right shade for me. We're just gonna keep going here. So I'm gonna switch it up and I'm gonna go into this darkest shade here. I'm gonna use a smaller brush and let's start with it out here. That actually might be my favorite shade so far in the palette. I'm gonna take a little bit more of that color and drag it down here. Yeah, I actually like that color. I'm going to use some of these shimmers, but I think I wanna use this sort of taupey color. Now that's weird because in the mirror it looks purple. I'm gonna just have this on. Oh yeah. Okay, I like that. Now I think what I like about this application with a brush is you do get a subtle wash of color as opposed to like a hard look on it. I was watching, I think, Mel Thompson's review on this, and she ended up applying some of these shimmers with a wet brush. On her young, beautiful eyelids, it just looked like crinkled tinfoil. It did not translate very well into what I saw. I think some people were saying that a lot of these are like toppers more than shimmers, but for a simple wash of color, like just a little bit of sheen, I don't mind it actually. I'd probably, maybe when the next time I use this palette, I might take one of these shades all over my lid and then use like a color like this as a topper just to kind of see how it works. Probably should have used a smaller brush, truth be told. I feel this look needs obviously lipstick and mascara. You know what, let's do a Pat McGrath lip liner. Lip liner is in Suburbia. You know what, if I do a darker lip, maybe I don't need eyeliner. Maybe that's what I was missing this whole time, is just lips. I'm gonna try this one right here. This is Pat McGrath Blitz Trance Lipstick Skin Elixir. And that was the right color to wear with this eye look. I'm gonna put some mascara on. We'll just use Thrive Cosmetics one as well. And I'll be back in just a moment. That is my first look with this palette. And I don't have any issues with the end result. Now, do I love all the light colors? No. I think I needed this. I like that one. I used this one and it was fine as a transition shade. I'd like to see how it looks like layered underneath that one maybe. Might be kind of cool. And then there's this one, and this reminds me of the Baby Got Peach palette from ColourPop, this kind of peachy color. And I don't know that I love it. And this one I think I was kind of least impressed with, but I like the way the rest of the eyeshadow turned out. So I'm, at the end of the day, it's like a painting that you don't know how it's really going to turn out until you get all the way through it. That's kind of how I feel like my makeup is today. Like I was feeling like, okay, I don't really know that I love these colors, and I don't really know that I love the formula, and I don't really know that it's going to work for me. And then it's like, well, maybe I didn't put on enough blush. Maybe if I do that. Then I got the lip on, I got the mascara on, and I'm like, I'm done. I don't even need any eyeliner or anything. This is all I needed to do. Why wasn't I more patient? Okay, guys, I'm going to take this off and I'm going to come back and let's do a quick look with the Khaki Haze Huda Beauty palette. You guys are going to have to leave me a comment down below. Tell me, do you want me to try to do 3 looks with one of these palettes? I mean, I know it's a $29 palette if you don't have any coupons or discounts or whatever else. So you got to have to really think, you know, do I want 9 shades for $29? How does that work out, like math-wise? Does that make sense for me? Am I going to be able to get use out of all of them or just some of them, and the price per shadow goes up? And is it really going to be useful in my collection? Like, I'm going to take this off. I'll be right back. Primed, ready to go. Let's try this Huda Beauty Khaki Haze, or Haze Khaki, Haze Obsessions Khaki palette. This has just seemed to me like a very easy palette to use. Like I said, I picked this up on kind of a weekend getaway. I just immediately started playing with it. So I'm going to go in with a pinker shade here. That's going to be my transition shade. Oh my gosh, I've got stuff leaning against the wall on my table. So if I have my elbow on the table, you can hear the, it sounds annoying. So I started playing with a different technique earlier, and then of course I sit down to film and I kind of forget. The technique that I saw and that I've been playing with lately, like in my downtime, is actually doing, and I think I used to do this and I don't know why I stopped doing it. Maybe it's just habit of watching other people's videos, I guess, but doing the eyeliner first and then working up and ending with the lighter transition shade. And there's a benefit to doing that, and I don't know why I kind of stopped doing that. So I guess that's a question for you guys. Which order do you put your eye products on first? Or are you just like super simple and you just do one, maybe 2 colors, and you're just out the door instead of just sitting here playing and having fun? Okay, I am gonna use this kind of next darker matte shade. I'm just gonna use the same brush. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that. When I'm filming this, I think as far as like coronavirus stuff, I think people definitely have pandemic fatigue. They're kind of like over everything. People quite aren't as scared, which means they're letting their guards down. And our numbers have gotten a little bit better in the counties that I live in. I say counties because we share the same health district and there's 2 counties. So our coronavirus seems to like getting a little bit better, and there's schools a few hours away that are talking about, you know, opening up for in-student learning. And I think we're just kind of waiting to see how that all pans out and if that really does cause like the second wave they're talking about. So I'm curious if your guys' schools are in person or if you guys are still planning on being distance learning for a while. I keep trying to remind myself and my kids and everybody else that the original reason for the lockdown was to keep our hospitals from being overwhelmed. And I think hospitals now have had the time to build up resources and to get equipment and to, you know, train staff and be able to handle it. And when they have gotten it, they, you know, kind of now know a little bit more what to look for. Obviously, you know, I don't want someone to be sick and suffer. I also feel like, you know, when does it all end? I love this darker green, and it does look a little brownish, a little greenish. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but I'm going to use that to kind of deepen things up here a little bit because I really want to do something with more of the greens today as opposed to the copper in here. The copper makes a really pretty look. Actually, you know what? This is an easy palette. Even though there's like 9 shades, this is an easy palette to get 3 looks out of. This palette makes a good fall palette. I think it makes a good like everyday palette. You can use it as a work palette. And then, you know, do something a little bit more fun. Some of my fall palettes, I'm missing the greens that I want. And as I mentioned before, I live in Washington State, so we do have trees that do stay green all year round. So I like to pull in those colors too, just on the outer side. Whereas I took that warmer one almost all the way in. This is staying just on the outer side. Feel like I need to do a little bit of blending with the shade out here. But I do like the way that the shade sort of ombre kind of gradient out a little bit. Think about how far I've come in my application process and still how much more I have to learn. I hope you guys stay learning something. My husband and I were talking about, you know, trying to learn Italian or, you know, some language together, and then we just kind of promptly forgot. When it's like, oh, we'll do this on Sunday. We'll spend a half an hour with Rosetta Stone and let's learn Italian. And then I don't know where the day went. The Seahawks are playing. That's why. Okay, I'm going to take this shimmery green here. All right, I'm applying this with a brush right now, but I can tell you it goes on so sheer. Like with the other palette, I wanted it to be sheer. Now I think I want a little bit more depth to it. I want a little bit more opacity. So I'm just taking that with my finger and kind of pressing it all over my movable lid. And that just feels smoky and rich and okay, so maybe I'm officially past the daytime eyeshadow look. But if you keep everything else kind of light and go with a, I don't know, a big cozy sweater, fire in the fireplace, big cup of hot cocoa or tea. Tea sounds good right now. All right, you guys, I'm gonna take a little bit of that same kind of shimmery green down here, trying to keep it as close as I can to my actual lash line. Frankly, I don't feel like I need any eyeliner, but there is a darker color in here that's kind of super dark. It's a cool tone, it's dark, it's almost like a purple. I'm gonna take a little bit of that right along that lash line. Does that do anything at all? Oh yeah. Okay. You know what that gave me? A boatload of fallout. 2 thoughts about these palettes so far. The mattes are very loosely pressed and downright powdery, but you can build up the colors to what you see is what you get. Just expect the fallout. Be prepared for that. Now, the shimmers on here, I think they do feel like maybe more like toppers when you apply them with a brush. But the reality is you can apply them a couple different ways to adjust the sort of intensity that you want. And that doesn't hurt my feelings at all. I'm gonna put on some mascara, do a little bit more cleanup, and I'll be right back. All right, mascara's on. I like this look. This is probably the eyeshadow look that I keep going back to. Okay, so then there's like this duochrome purpley champagne-y shade, and then this one over here. It seems like it's awfully glittery. So I'm gonna take the one that just seems like really, really bold shimmer. And we're gonna put just a little tiny dollop of that right there. Sometimes when I do my inner corner highlight, I go all the way in because I'm trying to sort of mask kind of discoloration, but because this is so shiny, I don't want to go too far in. I think this one is one that might apply a little better with a damp brush, truth be told. But since I'm trying to keep it a little bit more on the subtle side, that I just want that a slight lightness without being like crazy. Never noticed it's easier to build it up than it is to take it away. I feel like you can spend a lot of time shearing things out if you're not careful. All right, guys, that's my finished look with the Huda Beauty Khaki Palette. It is smoky. It is more richer, deeper. I love this look. It's more than I would do for just everyday. I think out of the two palettes, this ends up being the subtler, softer, everyday palette that you use with glasses. This palette I want to go deeper, richer. This one I tend to want to go softer and subtler, and so there you guys have it. Do I think I can get an eyeglass look out of this palette? Yeah. Out of the two, which are my favorite, that one. Do I regret not picking up the purple one? No, not at all. I don't think I miss it at all. All right, you guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this. I am not sponsored, affiliated, endorsed. I get nothing in PR, so all of this I've purchased with my own money. I don't ask you guys for any kind of donations or anything like that, but if you wouldn't mind subscribing before you left, I would really appreciate it. At 250 subscribers, I'm gonna do a giveaway, and it seems like every day I get another one, or every couple days I get another one. And so I'm hoping that before long, I can give back to you guys for spending some time with me, taking your time out of your day and listening to a lady of a certain age talk about makeup, play with stuff, maybe help decide if it's worth it for you guys to purchase it. Just keep in mind that I can give you nothing but my honest opinion, because nobody's paying me to do these videos. Right? Let's just get down to it. Can a lady of a certain age who's not a makeup artist, can we get the products to perform for us? If we can't, without having like some huge amount of training and skill and whatever else, just life lessons, if we can't, then is it worth our money? I don't want to convince you guys of anything. My vote is for the Khaki Palette out of the two, if you're interested. I think some people were saying that they weren't really seeing green. I get green. I get grungy green. I get the shades that I like. I don't know if that helps you guys. I might even try working these together. I hope you guys are doing really well, and until my next video, bye for now. I'm doing the lift and the shadow thing here. Not like a bend and snap, because there's no snapping. There's no snapping here. I guess there could be a snap if it was like this. It's kind of a snap. It's more of a click.